World's Africa expert, Fidelis Mumbard, joins us here in the studio. Fidelis, first Burundi, as we've been hearing, now South Africa. Why are these African countries now starting to leave this court?
Well, the thing is, it's clear. I was at the Africa Union Summit in Kigali, Rwanda in July, and they were unanimous in their condemnation of what they say is an attack, or like a targeted attack on African leaders, African countries. They feel like this court was just set up for African countries because they gave examples of US, Russia, and China not being actively involved, in obeying the court's in trying to comply with the court's requirements. So they feel like they're being unfairly targeted, that all the 6 cases now pending before the court are all involving Africans, and that why should they be unfairly targeted? So that it should be something that every act of criminal, any criminal activity across the world that comes up before the ICC, it should be something that should be tried, not just specific to, the continent of Africa. So even as we speak now, there are many countries that have indicated interest. You have Zimbabwe, you have Kenya. Even though Kenya has not come out to say we're withdrawing, but diplomatically they've withdrawn, because Uhuru Kenyatta, when his case fell apart last year, he did come out to say that no Kenyan would ever go to the ICC again for trial, which means indirectly he's already withdrawn the country's participation at the ICC. But just maybe what he's waiting for is a formal written application to the UN asking for withdrawal of his country from the ICC.
You say African leaders feel they're being unfairly targeted, but people might be fairly confused because there's a court, of course, in The Hague, which has tried and convicted non-Africans, Radovan Karadzic, for example. I was there at his trial. Is this not just a counterpoint to that court?
No, these were tribunals that were set up before the ICC came up in 2002. These were UN tribunals for countries. These were country-specific tribunals, like the one in, for the Serbian leader, the one for the Rwandan genocide in 1994, and then the UN also ordered a special court to be set up to try Chad leader Hisham Habre, who was just sentenced recently, to imprisonment for his role in, the country's conflict. So those were specific tribunals for just that particular country. But in this case, the ICC now is trying to harmonize all these tribunals because they had cases that were pending. They couldn't just close them down. So they had, until they're done with those cases, then they can now harmonize everything. It comes out under the ICC. But for now, the ICC has only cases involving Africans that is pending before them.
Fidelis, thank you for explaining that to us.